Dear friends in Jesus Christ, today we are in the fifth Sunday of Ordinary Time, Year C. The first reading of today is taken from the book of Prophet Isaiah. He describes his vision of Yahweh in heaven with the image of the Jerusalem temple with the songs of Holy, Holy and incense. But the central theme of the reading is the call of Isaiah. This call of Isaiah is parallel to the call of Saint Peter in today's gospel. The vision of the holiness of God leads Isaiah to confess his unworthiness. Then he receives forgiveness and accepts the call. In the Gospel of today, taken from Saint Luke, we hear about the interaction between Jesus and Peter in three levels. First, when Jesus went to the lake of Gennesaret, he sees the boat belongs to Simon Peter and gets into it and began to teach the crowd from the boat. So Peter lets Jesus to use his boat. He gives what he had for the mission of Jesus. Jesus uses Peter's resources for his mission. What does Jesus ask of us today for his mission? Peter was fishing the whole night but got nothing. He was using all his talents and abilities and experiences, but his nets kept coming up empty. Peter must have been disappointed and discouraged. Not only he, some others too must be depending on his daily fishing. In our life too, we must be facing these emptiness many times. Emptiness in our life, emptiness in our relationships, emptiness in our work, emptiness in our spiritual life, emptiness in our finance, and so on. At times, we try to replace this emptiness with unhealthy relationships, with immoral entertainments and pleasures, with addictions to social media, food, and drinks. These false efforts only leave us unsatisfied and emptier than before. Dear friends, we need to ask ourselves, when and how do we experience emptiness in our life? What efforts do we take to overcome this emptiness? Jesus tells Peter to put his net into deep water. Peter was a fisherman. Jesus was not a fisherman. Above all, Peter was working the whole night. Thus, Peter had many reasons to refuse to the suggestion of Jesus. But he accepted to act as per the words of Jesus, even though the command of Jesus was contrary to his experience and rational thinking. Yes, in the second level of encounter, Peter lets Jesus to direct his professional life. When he allows himself to act as per the words of Jesus, his emptiness is gone and experiences abundance. When Peter followed the direction of Jesus, he experiences abundance. Seeing this success, Peter realizes his unworthiness. Normally, one gets into arrogance during the success, but Peter tells Jesus, "Depart from me, Lord, for I am a sinful man." Jesus now gets into the third level of encounter with Peter. As Peter tells Jesus to leave, Jesus tells Peter to follow him. What an encounter! Peter tells Jesus to leave, but Jesus tells Peter to follow him. Peter looked back at his past life and felt his unworthiness. Jesus tells him to look forward with trust and not backward on his mistakes. Finally, Jesus tells Peter that he will be catching men. First, Peter allowed Jesus to take over material resources, his boat. Second, Peter allowed Jesus to take over his experiences and talents of fishing. Third, Peter allowed Jesus to take over his own very self for the mission of Jesus. He left everything and followed Jesus. Jesus gradually encountering Peter, and Peter fully allowed Jesus to empower him. Dear friends, how much and how do we allow Jesus to take over us? God bless you all. Amen.